Alrighty. Are we live? Leo, my friend, good evening. Ah, I'm so tired, man. I am so tired. Good evening, my friend. How are you? Let me just switch to my laptop now here so I can read the chat. I'm watching you on the TV. Beautiful. What is better in life than watching my face on the as large a screen as possible, right? I mean, right? All right, so let's kind of get started today. Is music too loud? I was also building some open source library yesterday, so that's why I haven't streamed as well. I'll need to kind of, yeah, take a look at that again. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that in this stream, but I'll need to get back to this eventually. All right, cool. Yeah, all right, cool. So let's kind of run this. Let's see what I do today. I have no idea what we're gonna do today. Did I close all other crap that I don't need? Let me close this. Let me disable Bluetooth, so I'm not using it right now. Then I was working on this last night, so maybe I could continue on that a little bit. And then maybe we can have some chats today. All right, cool. All right, great. All right, let's play some Iron Maiden. Let's play Dance of that album for start of the stream. Then we're gonna see where we go. So let's start with Rainmaker. All right, so well, good evening, everybody. We're just starting now. I hope everybody's doing well. Alrighty, so yeah, so we're gonna start building this. I was trying different things last night. All right, so let's get started with the front end today. What the hell did I just do? So we're running that stuff. Flint, my friend, good evening. Happy Friday to you as well, man. I've been off past 2 days. But my son got sick yesterday. He's finally, well, actually, he recovered instantly. He had some stomach issues. I think it was a virus. So yeah. So I wanted to stream it yesterday as well, but yeah, kind of didn't manage to make it. So here we are today. Hope you guys are. I hope you guys all had a good week. All right. So what we're gonna do here is we will here we're gonna say let's call this latest articles. Right? What the hell is this? What did I create? Okay, let's try that again. Latest articles. And we're gonna we'll create a file in there, right? We'll say latest articles JSX, and we'll create a index.jsx, and then we'll move this stuff that I was working on off stream on, right? So I'm gonna grab this fella, and then we're gonna say here export const latest articles, and then we'll just yeah, as hard coded as it is, we're just gonna do it here, and then here we'll just say latest articles, just so we have the same kind of, so we still have this thing. So basically, I was playing with this last night off stream, right? And I realized that, yeah, we can still have the feed as it is, but then we can have this one sidebar basically here. And I think that's fine, right? So let's maybe start there today. So we'll have to write a simple endpoint for this, and then we'll have to design it furthermore. But let's for now see what an actual article generally contains, which data, and then we can yeah, design it based on that, and then we're gonna write an endpoint that. So is this a single article? It is, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna copy the subject, and then we're gonna go here, and then we'll just hard code it for the time being. So we're gonna say dummy articles, whatever, right? And obviously, yeah, we don't need all of that crap, so we'll get rid of this, all of this, that as well. So we'll need a slug, we'll need a title and a slug, pretty much, right? And an ID, maybe. So we're gonna need something like this, right? So let's duplicate this 5 times. Let's imagine we're gonna show, well, last 5 articles or whatever, like that. Oops. And yeah, and then where does this actually thing? Yeah, and then we're gonna do this and that, right? Yeah, and then we'll say here, yeah. Let's go back here, and yeah, that's actually not correct. Thank you very much for the follow, appreciate it. And let me just. What is this this animation on my stream? What is this crap? There's like this emojis coming in. Do you guys see it? What is that crap? Never mind. I saw some like emoji shit something. I don't know. I have no idea. It's okay. It's okay. All good. All good. All right, cool. And let's just yeah, we'll just say here article ID. Yeah, it was like some like emojis animation coming out. All good now. All good now. Ah shit, give me a second, guys. I forgot to take the YouTube chat. Give me a moment. I forgot to take the YouTube chat. I'm not gonna see if somebody actually writes. Well, it's not many people are on YouTube, but let me just move this to my OBS so I can actually see the chat, and so you guys can also read if somebody writes. Jesus Christ, give me a second. I'm looking at my screen that looks like on the ceiling from your perspective. No, I'm not. I don't have anything fancy set up. Actually, I think I am actually. I think that's what but I only have one alert or something like that. Yeah. Unfortunately, Jove, good evening. So yeah, but you're right, Flint. I did create one. That's when somebody follows me, I believe. Then I think that's what. Ah, I see. Well, I think, yeah. I mean, it's not just Knockout.js. Knockout and Ember.js. They introduced that, right? But the thing is, so you know, like maybe 13 years ago, 12 years ago, when we wrote jQuery mostly, right? We wrote code in all ways, right? And then when Knockout came out, you're absolutely right. That was revolutionary in a way, and Ember.js as well. But then throughout all of that, you know, there was Pug, there was Jade, you know, rendering engine. We had handlebars and stuff. A lot of this crap was kind of a mixture of just rendering engines, right? So you in Angular 1 you had controllers and directives and stuff, and mixing these things in such a way wasn't really pleasant. You know, I loved it for a while, and then I remember when reactjs came out, I kind of hated it. But then I started loving it maybe a year later when I realized that it actually is cleaner than writing for loops literally in a markup as you would do, let's say, in Angular 1, right? But yeah. All right, cool. But let's write some code. Well, I mean, I didn't hate it. That would. But you get the point. It would be silly to say that I get attached to a technology. It doesn't really matter. Who cares, right? It's just the point is that wow, okay, we'll see about it. All right, but we're gonna have some discussions tonight. I mean, it's Friday and we can chill out together and just have some fun, right? So I'm up to discuss some of these things. But indeed, you know, Ember.js and Knockout.js, they were quite revolutionary when they came out, and honestly, they influenced modern world that we have today. For example, I remember that Ember.js, for example, had the best CLI tool that a lot of other tools like Angular initially they right. Are you sure that the font is up to date? I don't even know, man. Let me see. Font. Yeah, it is. I think that's the font I'm using. Wait. Let me check. I don't, but I'm sure that it is. Yeah, JetBrains Mono. You can see here. Yeah. I think it is. I think it is. Yeah. All right. So going back here. So let's just kind of slowly clean this up. What is this crap? Okay. Is this my? Where is this stuff? What is this stuff doing here? All right, great. Yeah, actually, you're not the only one who said that. Let's see if I have some other setting that might affect that might help you. So I have these font ligatures, but I don't think this is related to this font. This was related to a different font. I have line height. I have few things that might maybe. So try this, right? I'm gonna smack this in here. So try some of these things and see if it makes a difference, right? My pleasure, man. My pleasure. Of course, that's why we're here, to cooperate and share knowledge, right? Of course. All right, great. So let's now go to our API, right? And let's implement a new endpoint that's going to give us and let's recommend the do you work 40? I work 37 hours a week at my full-time job. And then this I don't consider work. I do this for fun. I mean, as you can see, sometimes I stream 5 days in a row, then I don't stream for a week or two, right? So this thing is not work. This is just fun, right? Yeah, here in Denmark we work 37 hours, yeah. Yeah, I can work from anywhere I want, but I prefer working from the office. I prefer being with my colleagues and friends there and just having a good time, throwing a joke here and there. You get what I mean and stuff like that. So, all right, let's use the robot. So what's up with this crap? Let's say Jean Code Van Debug. So let's say here, given this endpoint written in Fastify with sequelize, write a new function called get latest articles. Do you think software developers will be replaced by AI? I have a video on that on YouTube if you want to watch it, but I can ensure it. It's just that's why I'm recording these. That's why I'm recording these videos, right? Because as I have no intentions of stopping streaming anytime soon, I just don't want to answer the same questions. But no, in short, if you want a short answer, no, we will not get replaced. No, the programming world is gonna look drastically different, but we will not get replaced. No, but it's gonna be very different. How do I even find my videos? You can find them on my YouTube. All right, so let's get over here. Let's review what the robot wrote. I don't actually know why the prettier got messed up. All right, so let's see. Articles find all is draft false. Include the tag. No, so we don't actually need any of this. So we don't need to do those left joins. So we can get rid of that. Created descending limit 5. Thank you very much, Ali. Leo. My colleague at work is Lee. So yeah, so we don't actually really need any of this, so that's great. So we can just clean this up. Robot did really well. This is also meaningless. So yeah, so this is literally what we need. Limit. This limit we can maybe. Yeah, we can. Allow the front end to call this as it wishes, right? So that's it. But let's just keep it for 5 now. And then what do we need? We said we really don't need this. So let's be very, very selective. We need it. Created ad. We needed maybe source link. So this is really what we need, right? We really need to figure out why. Give me 1 second. Something got messed up. Code formatter. Default. Code formatter, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy doing those videos, right? Because I think there's so... It's just sharing your opinion. Again, I by no means state that all of these opinions are like fully like absolute, right? Good evening, YouTube. Good evening. It's just you know, it's just it just feels nice to sit there and share my experience, right? That's the beauty of it, because I think that it genuinely can help people in some way, right? Latest articles, yeah. Get latest articles. All right, and then over here what are we actually doing? Let's see, did we return an object from here, or we can just return an array from this, right? We don't need to return an object which has a reference. What do you do to secure your website? I'm not sure what you mean, Nitro. I mean, there's no such tool that secures your website. Security spans across many domains, and it's a very complex thing. So I do everything that I can to secure all layers of this network, starting with infrastructure, network, API, frontend, and that's a very broad subject, right? There is no tool that protects your website. It doesn't exist. get latest article. Okay, so that's great. So that's good. And then over here, yeah, and then yeah. So this is basically going to be an array, right? So this is going to be really type. This is going to be type array, right? Yeah, items. Yeah, not really, but we're gonna not really. So items is going to be of type object properties, and then we're going to have an ID type string. We're going to have title. Oops, that's wrong. We're going to have title type string. So we're going to have an ID title ID title, what did we say, slug, and then we're going to have created at, right, if I recall. March security is handled by the protocols themselves. Well, I mean, but that's a different type of thing, right, Brainy? So of course that all the protocols or all the little rules that we use are yeah, they're when they're built, of course that there's some security, but that's a different type of thing, right? That's generally not the security that makes things go bad on your website, right? You know, it's not that somebody hacks a TCP protocol and then your website is hacked, right? There are various other things to it, right? What is the architecture of your app, by the way? I don't get React. React is just a JavaScript library. I think it's a little bit weird, Brainy. There's no every single framework out there, the front end library is the same, right? And every single one of them is hosted in the same way. There's no literally difference, even 1%. So I'm not sure. It's hosted on Cloudflare pages, but it doesn't matter. It could have been hosted anywhere. It could have been hosted on GitHub or can you do backend? And backend is a UI library. It has nothing to do with backend. React is a library just like jQuery is a library, just like anything else is a library, right? It runs in the browser. So there's really nothing to get there. It's just another library like the ones we had 30 years ago, right? All right, so if we get over, okay, that's a little bit weird. So this was probably, yeah. All right. And then over here, we'll call this endpoint that we just made. Let's actually take a look at our let's take a look at our Swagger spec. So here's the new endpoint that we just made, right? Yeah, and yeah, it's a little bit yeah. So we need to update it. So if we get back here, we need to get rid of those URL parameters, right? Because we're not actually going to have those. Both the front end and back end is written. I'm not sure what you mean, Brainy. That doesn't make much sense, man. Maybe you're referring to Next.js, which is also just React rendered in the server. All right, so going back to this, so let's take a look at our Swagger again. So latest articles, yeah. So that should be fine. We should basically get an array of this, right? So let's go to the front end and let's use the wrapper that I wrote around Axios, our own service or library, right? All right, so let's get here and let's say, you know, we're gonna just say const is loading and set is loading, and then use states. We can even let's take a look at that in a second, and let's say use effect, and we'll say here request, which is my own. Where is my service? My little wrapper here. Here it is. So let's do this. And let's say request we should probably turn this into some let's say get. Definitely not going to use a promise there, but it doesn't matter. Let's wait and see. So let's actually just get here and say const get articles. You have my LinkedIn profile in the chat on Twitch. On Twitch, you have a LinkedIn URL somewhere. You also have it in Programmer Network on my profile. So then you can see my entire experience from 2008 until today. So let's just make it work first. Let's just fill shit up, and then we'll improve this a little bit, right? So we know that we're gonna render these articles here, and we know that this might actually fail, so we wanna make sure we handle that error. And then so we can basically say technically that this is loading by. I'm writing it in the API, man. I think you're confusing because I have two different projects open in the same workspace, right? I think that's maybe where you got confused. Programmer Network frontend and backend are completely decoupled. They have nothing to do with each other. Zero. They're completely decoupled. React is rendered in your browser, and it's fetching data from All right, cool. Let's see what happens now. Are we actually fetching stuff from the... let's see. So we're not getting anything yet. Let's see, are we fetching the right stuff? So latest articles is failing. Let's see, 404. Yeah, that's a little bit weird because... so let's just say here v1. Yeah. All right, and we'll turn this into a service anyway in a second. So let's just make sure that it works. Play one game, my friend. Good evening. Good to see you, dude. Honestly, guys, I'm sometimes a little bit confused because some of you have been here for so long, and yet you don't understand. I mean, I've shared the infrastructure Programmer Network past year probably 100 times. And I think I'm gonna have to make a video on that just so I don't repeat it, because nearly every stream I have to explain the same thing. So this has nothing to do with ASP.core, or it's not even remotely close. It's nothing to do with that. This is the oldest possible way to do a full stack app. There's a front end, which is its own thing, and there's a back end, which is the API, which is the own. So it cannot be more. It cannot be more. No, yeah, my API has a Swagger spec, and my API only deals with that stuff. Calls other services, databases, authentication, and stuff. My front end is just a React app in the browser, and that's it. There's no server side rendering. It's written in nodejs and Fastify. It's Fastify. My pleasure. Let's just go through it once more, because and then I promise I'll sit tomorrow and record a video on the infrastructure, because a lot of people care about this, which I'm happy that they do. but it's just, I think, okay, so let's go to the programmer network infrastructure. Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, Leo, you're gonna have to see it for the last time before I made a video. So programmer network infrastructure is hosted on Hetzner. Hetzner is a German company. It's one of the oldest. This company is older than AWS, GCP, and shit like that. So I've used this almost 20 years ago. It's a very old company. So here I'm paying for a bare metal machine, meaning I'm paying for just a server. And then on that server, I'm hosting everything using Docker. So I'm using Docker network, and then I have a bunch of maybe 20 different Docker images, Docker containers running on that machine, on that computer. You can see our client, our React application, which we just spoke about, is hosted on Cloudflare pages. This is a service where you can, it's a Cloudflare service where you can host your front-end applications, your single page apps, your static applications. You host them here. Now, infrastructure gets more complicated and stuff. So I have a Hetzner firewall, and this Hetzner firewall that I'm using on my host machine on this server only allows traffic from Cloudflare IP ranges. So only the traffic from the Cloudflare IP addresses is allowed to enter the server. Any other traffic is going to be filtered out by the firewall. And those IP ranges, you can find them, Cloudflare IP ranges, you can find them here. So in my firewall on Hetzner, I said only allow traffic coming through these IPs, IPv4 and IPv6. Why? Because I put Cloudflare in front of my whole infrastructure due to DDoS protection and other security. So when you go to programmer.network, you're going through Cloudflare, and then Cloudflare is, going further on to my server, right? Then we have Nginx, which is a reverse proxy. It's only used internally inside of this infrastructure, and it's used, as I said, 100 times. Mostly it's used for when my certbot has to renew my internal certificates. It has to open up some stuff, and then certbot servers can hit my server and say, okay, or hit me back with a response validating the certificate. Then I have internal services here, which is stuff that I use for monitoring, alerting, and stuff. I have Grafana and Prometheus. So, for example, if I go here, I can see the utilization of resources on my server. Like this is my host, my bare metal machine on Hetzner. Then I can see the API logs. So if some error happens in my infrastructure, I come here and I see that the error happened, blah blah blah, and then blah blah blah. I can monitor my nodejs, my Fastify application, usually just a heap. Is there any memory leaks? Is the CPU handling enough of requests? Of course it is, because there's no traffic. And then here, this is monitoring my Postgres. How is my Postgres database behaving, right? And again, it's usually very constant because there's no fluctuation of traffic, because programmer network is not really used by many people. Then there's more things. I cannot go into detail because there's a lot of stuff. There's alerting. So when the error happens in my API, I have these alert rules that I wrote using Grafana query language. So when I can show you one of them. So when here you can see this is Grafana query language, and I'm saying, hey, when the error message of status code 500 happens, I want to basically I have Dockerized everything. Yeah, Postgres as well. Yes. And then basically whenever an error happens on my, let's make sure I don't share some shit. So if I go to the Slack, Programmer Network Slack, you can see here, whenever some error happens, I get this error. So my alert manager, my server, sends an error here, and I can see that the error actually happened, right? So yeah, it's alert manager. You can, for example, it's a Docker image, right? Prometheus alert manager, this one, right? So this is what I'm using. Okay, further on, so this is I cannot go into detail. There's a lot of stuff in here. So my Grafana is hidden behind Cloudflare firewall. So I'm the only one who can access. If you try to go to grafana.programmer.network, you're going to be blocked. etc., 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 etc. So then I have a Fastify API, I have Postgres database, I have Redis for notifications and some other things for caching, and there's more. But you can see it's it's not the simplest thing, and everything is hosted by me, and it's hosted here on the Hetzner server. Let's log into Hetzner. So it's hosted here. I pay around 21 euros a month. You can see I get 16 gigs of RAM, 4 CPUs, 106 gigs of space, and this is the traffic in and out currently, right? And then I have a lot of stuff, as I said. Here I have 3 different firewalls. I'm not using load balancers right now because, again, there's no traffic. If Programmer Network would ever succeed and have some reasonable traffic, then I would probably create a load balancer here, maybe somewhere in the US, because the current server is in the EU, whatever, but that wouldn't make much difference anywhere, right? And then you can see there's more stuff in here, right? That's it. All right, cool. So let's that's it. I promise I'll record a YouTube video on this because it has been asked countless times, and I think it's yeah, my pleasure, of course. Thank you for asking again. No, I mean, I love talking about infrastructure. I love it. I mean, I did a lot of that in my career, right? So it's a valid question, right? So unfortunately, yeah, we still need to actually do this, and it's fine, right? It's okay. For sure, man. 100%. For sure, I'm with you. Oh yeah. I don't actually remember. Can we use attributes here when we do a left join? I think we can, because for the author, I really need the author. Let me actually go into the database very quickly. So if we go into users, a user has a slug as well, right? A username, actually, right? So technically, we only really need this. Let's put a debug point in here, and actually let's see what we get. So let's put a debugger there. If I refresh this, we should break. Let's actually see what articles are. So as you can see, we got 5 articles, 5 models. Those are basically the documents, sequelized documents. So let's see here in a debugger, did we get an author? Yeah, so here is the author, and we're getting a lot more than I actually wanted. That's not cool. So it seems that these attributes didn't really work. I don't think that ChatGPT is going to make much difference in the journey of programming, right? I think that's just an assumption, right? Because you cannot speed up. You can only speed up understanding of something to a limit, right? You cannot take something fundamentally large and complicated and narrow it down into 3 days, right? So for sure, you're right that yeah, I mean, it's a hard subject, right? It's a hard subject because the thing is, we don't know, right? The strangest thing, right? So let me just make a break of the code because it's a very valid point. So we don't know, right? The biggest problem for me right now, right, is that we don't know the consequence of ChatGPT, right? Because like some of you just said, programming is a profession where finding problems and solving them is the fundamental skill, is the core skill. how is this going to affect people and how much will it make them reliable on other sources such as ChatGPT is questionable, but maybe it's not even important, right? Because that's what I say when somebody asks at the start of the stream, do you think that the AI will replace programmers? I don't think it's going to replace us. I think it's just going to fundamentally change the nature of the work and, you know, the way that what you focus on, right? So the focus isn't going to be on like Dan just said, oh, I used to take 10 hours to solve a problem, right? So it's pretty much going to be, you know, you'll just be able to think less and do more, and that consequence of that is unclear, right? Because what happens when ChatGPT doesn't have that data fed into it, right? So how do you then unstuck yourself from there if you're fully reliable on it, right? So what happens then? Because ChatGPT can give you the responses only the ones that it has data about, right? So we don't know. I mean, I'm not suggesting that I know. I'm genuinely saying we don't know the consequence this is going to have on society, on schools, right? You know, when you went to school, right, you had to write some essays, some work, so you learn how to write, how to read, how to articulate yourself, right? You get what I mean? So we don't know the consequence on literacy that the ChatGPT is going to have, right? Because literacy is a very important thing, knowing how to write, how to speak, how to listen, right? And because we're just stuck onto programming, right? But programming isn't the only thing that people use this for. People are using this to write books, to write essays, to overcome these things which really aren't. It works against the people, right? So. I mean, play one game. I'm with you, man, as well. It's no different for me as well. I don't think it differs. I do solve it 10 times faster as well. But that's not the point. The question is, what happens if you bring up the whole generation to be dependent on it, right? And again, it's a genuine question. We don't know, right? Because if the next generation of programmers gets raised fully dependent on these tools to think for them, what is the consequence of that? We don't know. We'll see, right? And maybe it doesn't really matter. But we'll have to wait and see, right? Because we don't know. Because you can see, for example, oftentimes you'll see, like if you see me using ChatGPT, right, you'll maybe often see one fundamental difference in how I'm using it, right? For me, ChatGPT is something that speeds up me not needing to go to documentation, right? Because you can see that when I form the question, I know exactly what I want and what I'm asking, because I know the domain. I've written this shit way before this thing existed, right? So that is the difference, right? But we don't know, right? I mean, the thing is, of course, human beings we were always scared of the change, right? Yeah, but I don't think this is true. I don't think this is correct. I think that ChatGPT is kind of failing here a little bit. I don't think this is correct. Okay, let's put a breakpoint here on the actual no, so you can see, that ChatGPT is kind of failing a little bit here, right? Let's go to documentation, right? So yeah, so we can in fact do this. So wow, okay, that's a little bit weird. Okay, so let's go back here, right? And so essentially, if this is in fact correct, here we should have author. Yeah, I mean, it's overdoing it a little bit. So what we really need here is just a username of right. So we want to be as efficient with this as possible, right? All right. So let's actually use Postman just to test this, right? So let's say new. Where's our localhost? How did we call it? Let's refresh this. This is probably gonna fail now. But we don't really care, so that's good. Let's remove these. Let's remove the debug points, right? Let's continue execution of this thing. So that's failing, and it's okay. So let's get over here. Oops. So let's get over here. Let's smack this thing, and let's get a JSON Web Token from the cookies, right? So if we get over here, we're gonna do this. We actually need to say here. So we need to say headers, right? Well, why is this thing? So let's say here cookie, right? Actually, you know what we can do? We can just get over here, and we can just do this, right? We can just say cookie and then paste this thing in here, right? So let's see what we get. So where's our what did I want to do? What the hell is happening? Shit. Did I like buy? Yeah, okay. The value. Okay, I see what's happening. All right. So let's get back over here. So it's complaining that the value of this. So it's complaining that the payload that we're getting here isn't correct, right? So let's in fact. Yeah, and it's complaining here that we're actually returning an object and not an array, right? So that's most likely an issue. So let's try this. Oops. So this is really what we want to get. And then we want to get rid of all of this, right? I think. So let's do this, and let's try this again. And where is the response? Why are we seeing this? Body. What did I click on? I think we clicked on something. Like, what the hell is happening, man? Where's my? Aha, here it is. Okay, so that's good. So this is good, right? So this is exactly what I wanted. Author and username, whatever. Right? Okay. So if we now go to the front end, or if we go back to this thing that we're making here, right? What we really need to do is we need to say here, so blah blah blah. So here we have to say, slash. We'll have to import that author.username, and then here we're gonna have to say, slug, and then here we'll just put in the author, right? So now if we refresh this, technically it should work. It should take you to that latest article, right? All right, that's cool. That's cool. And then view all articles. Obi, my friend, good evening. So yeah, so we'll have to see about this. We'll have to see about this. Jcraft, good evening, friend. How are you? And then view all articles. Basically, I don't think we have it. So we have /programmers even in production, right? So you can kind of scroll through all of the programmers that signed up so far, but we don't have /articles, right? So because yeah, that's we should also probably yeah. So I wonder if we should make that, because we need to take you somewhere when you click this, right? Obi, I think there are more things. I mean, depending which library you're referring to, because we open sourced a few of them. And I actually built another library yesterday. That's why I also didn't stream. And this was an interesting one. So what I built yesterday off stream is a basically plugin for. So this is what I built yesterday. So I built a plugin for SVGO, right? So this library, and I'm actually using this already in Programmer Networks. So basically, what I built is, so SVGO is SVG optimization library. So SVGO is the library that you can run to optimize your SVGs, meaning clean up the useless markup, etc., etc., etc. This SVGO is used by SVGR, which is what we are using in Programmer Network to build our icons. And SVGR essentially uses SVGO under the hood, and it takes your folder of raw SVGs and it converts them to React components. That's how we use our icons in Programmer Network. Now, what it doesn't really do, and this is what I needed. I needed SVG crop. What is SVG crop? Let me show you. Let me show you the problem so you understand the problem, right? It's an interesting thing. I actually worked on this yesterday for a long time because I had to, it was not a simple thing, right? So the problem with SVGs is that SVGs, and I found this resource yesterday, the problem with many SVGs, right, is that they have this thing called padding. They have this blank, empty space around them, right? And they have it due to designers trying to design them so when you're using the icons from the same icon library, that the icons appear in the same size relative to each other. And this is great. Now, what is the problem? The problem arises when you start using icons from different icon libraries, which we are using, right? Because we don't have a designer and it's very hard to find a single icon library that has all the icons that you need, right? So for example, we use things like this, right? We go here and we say, hey, brain, for example, right? And then you find some icon with the brain, right? Then you say, all right, I like this brain, right? And then you copy this brain. You say SVG, right? But what is the problem with this, right? It's a very simple problem. Look at this now. You see how much space there is around this SVG. So you have the SVG itself, right? But you can see, if I do the SVG, you see there is this blank space around it. And how can you remove this space? Well, you can find websites like this where you paste this markup, and then you can see now if I compare the two, right? If I compare the two, Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck's happened with this service? All right, so if I paste this one here, you'll see that this one now has very little space, even though this is confusing. It has very little space around it, right? Relative to this one, and you can see that the view box here, you see this view box value has been updated from 0024 to 222020, right? Anyway, long story short, I built an extension that now incorporates a plugin and does exactly what this SVG crop does. I built it yesterday. You can install it with SVGO or SVGR as a plugin, and it's gonna crop all your icons like that. It's gonna remove all the blank space around it. How did I build it? It's fairly simple now, but it took me several hours to figure out. So basically, what did I have to do? Well, because this is a CLI tool, it's not running in the browser, it's running in the Node.js context, there's no window and stuff. I had to use this SVG DOM, which is basically a virtual DOM representing an SVG. And then I had to use the svg.js, which is basically almost like creating a virtual window environment, right? Then I had to learn a little bit about SVGO and the plugin API that they have, because if you go to SVGO plugins, I had to read their documentation. That took a while because, yeah, it just, so if I go here, and if I go plugins, you can see here in the plugin architecture that they explain how you should build your own custom plugin. So eventually I ended up doing that, as you can see. And now the magic here, where the magic happens basically is it's quite simple now when it works. I'm gonna ignore this code. But if we get over here, basically what I do, I loop through the SVG, I look at every single path, and I say, hey, if the path is, so basically, if only calculate the actual size of the content by neglecting those elements which are hidden. Because some paths in SVGs, they have this fill set to none and display set to none. So I'm saying here, and I should have just earlier returned here, but doesn't matter. And then here I calculate min-max, so I calculate x, y, height, and width. And then here in the element, I set the view box to that, right? And here I'm saying, hey, if the SVG fragment doesn't have a view box attribute, just skip, don't do anything. So I'm basically only interested in the elements that already have a view box on it. Ayla, good to see you as well. Thank you for coming by. So this is in simple words what I did, but I had to spawn the virtual DOM so I have the SVG APIs in the context of Node.js, because obviously you don't have that. Those APIs are available in the browser, right? Anyway, that's what I did yesterday, and it works. I was super happy. It doesn't work perfectly with every single SVG, but at least I no longer have to go to this thing and manually put shit in there, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, that was an interesting thing. Well, I mean, I'm using SVGR. So in Programmer Network, we build our icons. We just say, you know, build icons. So I'm using this more than a year now. So I just run pm build icons, which is just a script in my package.json, right? So that's a different thing where it's just I built an additional plugin. So when we're doing this, it also removes the padding around them. But you can see here we're using this SVGR CLI, and then I give it the path where my raw SVGs are, my actual SVGs, and then I say build the React components inside this folder here, right? Yep. All right. Cool. Okay, so great. This works. That's great. So we actually can, in fact, now show latest articles there. View all articles, though we need to, I guess we should probably implement that route, or maybe. Yeah. So the UX is so hard. Now I'm just thinking, if we show this widget here, because this view as well is a little bit weird being here. I mean, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it until we know, until we have a better solution, right? So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna say yeah, I think it's literally this one. Yeah, it is. It is. All right, great. Okay, so I suppose we can do the same, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to this fella over here, and we should probably rename some of that crap, right? Yeah. Okay, I see. I see. All right, cool. And we only get one life, can't escape it. Ah shit, I just realized that I didn't change my microphone output to the proper thing. Give me a second. You might have heard some noise and shit. Wait a minute. It should be this. Yeah. Alright, cool. So I'm gonna do this and this and this and this. Yeah, you should have told me. I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware, honestly. Alright, let's just leave it like that. I like that. So let's go to this view all articles. It didn't disturb. Okay, good, good. All right, let's do a little bit. So let's say here, let's go. This is just what popped my mind. All right. So that's great. So we're gonna make that clickable in a moment. The fuck is that? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I like that. It's coming your way, coming your way. Dmitrovich, my friend, good evening. What is it? Is the current fill or some shit like that? Current color, right? Why my brain refuses that information? It's unbelievable. All right, cool. So that's great, right? Let's run our. You know what? Let me open my beautiful terminal just for these types of things. It's faster. 11 months. Thank you so much, David. That's crazy, man. Thanks a lot, dude. 11 months. Jesus Christ. What the heck? What happened there? Ah, I see. when it comes to be. Thank you everybody for your subs, your follows, and all of that cool stuff. I forgot. I keep forgetting this. I can't memorize it. I guess my brain refuses to do it. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we set the group here, right? Yes. And then here, I suppose we can say group hover, right? Group. Yeah, group hover. Yeah, group hover. Text primary, right? Something like that, if I recall. Let me change. Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, let me change a song. Let's find something amazing. Let's go crazy a bit, right? Cool. All right. Greatest articles. Is the title necessary? I'm a huge minimalist, right? And the fundamental question here is, yeah, I don't actually think so. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's clear what this is. I mean, yeah, right? Maybe. Who knows? Let's give it a shot and get the feedback eventually, right? View. Are you really viewing articles? See all articles. All articles. All articles. All articles. More articles. Why do you develop on VSL? Because I'm just more used to developing on Unix and Linux in general. I never really developed anything on Windows in 15, 16 years of my career. It's always been a Mac. For my work, I use Mac, and this machine I just use for streaming because my MacBook Pro cannot handle all of this shit that I have. I have 2 huge screens, 4K camera, and all of that stuff. Okay, that's amazing, actually. That's pretty good. Let's... yeah, that's actually good. It's just this is probably completely now messed up for mobile, right? I mean, not most likely 100% messed up, right? So we need to, at the very least, yeah, we need to do something for mobile. And it's going to be very difficult to smack these things on mobile. So we need to, I don't actually know what to do on mobile, right? But if we go here, what can I do, right? On mobile, I just have to say, you know, come on, man. Like, seriously, what is the fucking divider, man? Are you kidding me, man? Sometimes this thing gives you the most complex answer on some shit, and then when I say div, it says divider. My pleasure, man, of course. Is it hidden, right? And then md block or something like that, right? Yeah. That fucking sucks, yeah. So what is making is it the new nav bar that it's making things go no, or is it the article? So something in here is actually not contained properly, and that's quite annoying actually. So let's figure out what is that thing, right? because something is making the mobile scrollable, right? And that's a little bit weird. It has to be this guy, right? So let's just say here max. Let's say just a random test. So if I do this, yeah, okay. So it is this thing, right? Okay, so this is good. So and I hope that you guys actually, some of you I guess are not signed up. So make sure you sign up on our service, right? So what is this? What do we want to do here really? So we want to say width. We'll have to investigate this now. Let's see. I mean, it is technically due to the padding, right? It is, I guess, right? So if we go back here, right? It is really due to the padding, right? I suppose. Is it? Yeah, most likely, right? Almost, yeah. So box sizing is off, right? Actually, you know what we could play? Yeah, I mean, sure. Actually, no, I have a better idea. Let's say blind guardian. Let's play bright eyes. All right. So yes. So we need some way to contain this, right? So here we could say, let's just test it again. Let's do a random test. So if we would contain it here, right? Would it work? Okay, so technically it wouldn't. Okay, so we need to really update the feed item, right? So this guy is creating problems. Let's see. Mm-hmm. You think so? I mean, we could try that, right? Well, let's see if it works. Yeah, it doesn't quite work, does it? No, not really, right? Because we have, it's kind of, we have multiple issues with this, right? Because I guess we have the text as well, which, yeah. But let's see what we do, right? It's great. It's great when it works. I agree with you. It's definitely great when it works. All right, so let's see. So the problem here is something here, right? It's either the content header, so it's either this guy that has something in there that's too big, or it's the actual. So let's take a look at that. So what if I literally just remove this for a second? Let's see what happens then. So you can see right now it's fine. So it's clear that the issue is in the content here, right? So let's narrow it down to, okay. So if we narrow it down, it's this fella in here, right? And as you can see, this width full maybe is messing it up here. Or basically this should be maybe width of fit, right? Maybe. but does it work? No, not yet. No, not yet. Okay, or maybe it does. Maybe now if we get back to this bad boy here, right, and we get rid of this. No, not really. Okay, so let's keep on trying. So what if I say here, just for fun, I say 200 pixels, right? So yeah, we can see it's this fella that's messing it up, right? So let's see max width. So that one is not going to do. Yeah, so yeah, something we have to do with this guy so it works, right? So let's see what else can we try. It's a little bit weird, really. Yeah, but why is this fundamentally happening? That's the problem. Like, we shouldn't need to really do any of this. It should really be spanning the available space. Why does it? This makes no sense. So there's something off in here, right? So why is it doing this in the first place? Is beyond me, right? It shouldn't be behaving like this at all. Yeah, I don't actually know. It's super weird. Super weird. But we know that it's this guy. It has to be, right? Because you can see that the Marv, my friend, good evening. How are you doing? I'm just doing some stuff and just trying to fix something very quickly now. What about yourself, man? Yeah, exactly. So what the hell, man? So what can we do with this fella now? Text base. Let's actually see, do we need that width full? So if we go to desktop, let's see what happened now. I'm a free agent. What do you mean last day? Did you get fired or are you taking vacation? What happened? And how did we mess this up? Give me a second. Ah, I see what happened here. No worries. Yeah, that's super weird. Ah, I see. I see. I see. All right, cool. Nice, man. That's cool. Oh, I remember that you're starting a new thing. Sorry, I completely forgot about it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Enjoy your time off. Enjoy your time off for sure, dude. 100%. Give me a second here. Okay, so that's that, right? All right, let me just try a few things here, right? Let's just try to, with some elimination process, let's just try to figure out a few things here. So we can't deploy this until mobile looks at least decent, right? I mean, until this scrolling is fixed. So that's super weird. Okay, let's go back to where were we here, right? But what if this thing had like P8 or something like that, right? Instead of this. No. So strange, man. Like I don't actually genuinely get it now. Why? No, I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm just making sure that the changes I made on desktop now are also fine on mobile, right? So I'm not implementing anything new. Just making sure that we don't release this by breaking mobile view, right? Thank you everybody for your follows, appreciate it. So weird, man. So weird. Let me just close up some of this crap. Articles tab. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, man, you've been watching my stream for a year now. I hope that you opened the app once on your mobile. Of course you can open it on your mobile. You always could have. Yeah, but I don't. No. That it shouldn't be any fixed with that. That would be wrong, right? It could be. Yeah, of course you didn't. You barely use it anyway. I know when you guys log in. I mean, I can see who is logging in the app every day and who isn't. So most of you are not. At least most of you here are not doing it. Okay, but anyway, it's nobody can force you to. If it's useless for you, it's wait, let me change the song. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to log in if you don't want to. Nobody's. I mean, yeah. All right. Anyway, so going back to this, yeah, it's so weird. I'm actually genuinely interested why this is as such, right? Yeah, it makes no fucking sense, man. Like, why is it? Give me one moment. I just want to test one thing. Just need to kind of form an opinion on what it is. All right. Okay, I see. I mean, but that's fair enough, man, right? I mean, you might never feel the need to use it, right? I mean, it's okay, right? I don't blame you. It's completely logical. You probably, if you don't want to write a blog post that other people want to read and you don't feel any need to share something, then there is no point. So I'm with you, right? It's not that it's some mind-blowing thing that we're building here, right? It's not. So it's a matter of, I mean, fair enough, right? I'm with you 100%. I don't disagree with you at all. I think you're absolutely right. Actually, I think I remember now what we can actually, in fact, do. So if we go to TipTap somewhere, I must have a TipTap config, right? Yeah, so I'm sure that somewhere around here, right, for the paragraph or something, right? Yeah, this is what we have to do. So if I take a look at this, I think the issue here is that these paragraphs are not, they don't have, yeah, exactly, right? So you can see here, there's no word break or anything on these paragraphs. So, and this doesn't seem to be applying that. What if I said break all? Thank you very much, man. Let's hope, let's hope it becomes something one day. But if not, we'll build something else, who cares? We're having fun, right? So it's that's all that matters, right? No, I mean, the thing is, right, I mean, look, here we go. So look, Leo, I mean, technically many of you here are early adopters, right? The tragedy of some of you being early adopters is that you come here because of me. And that is tragedy for me, because I wish that some of you can just force yourselves, for 10 minutes a week and just even generate a post blog using ChatGPT, right? So the thing is that fundamentally at the end of the day, right, most of you who actually still watch me are here because of me, not because of the platform. And that's also respectful, right? But many of you could help the platform out by being an actual early adopters. You go and say, fuck it. There's nothing I can use this platform for now, but I'm gonna go and write an article using ChatGPT or whatever, right? Just to help out, right? You cannot make this addictive, right? In order to make this addictive, people need to start using it and writing things that other people want to read, right? So that's the way you make things addictive, right? You make it by writing the content, right? All right, cool. So that's at least that, right? Yeah, so I think we can almost deploy this. Give me 1 second. What the fuck happened here? Very weird. Oh, okay. I see. I know what happened. I know. Yeah. All right, so let's do that. Feed, let's say here, P4, MD, P0, right? All right, so yeah, so I think I'm gonna literally, so let's push the API first, because that's what we're gonna need. So we're gonna have this endpoint, right? Yes, great. And this is the endpoint, nice. So let's say here, get latest articles, endpoint, commit, sync, and then let's go here. So yeah, this has nothing to do with this SVG crop. This is the shit that I was building for the SVG crop. Yeah, so actually, so we don't need this. I'm just gonna say pnpm remove svgo crop. Bouncing their songs when hours have gone by. You got some error. Let's see. Yeah, I'm redeploying the API, so let's see. Yeah, I've just redeployed the API, so it should be fine. Yeah, I think just wait a minute until it's deployed and then it should be fine again. Righty? Let's see what we did here. So I did a bunch of these modifications. Yeah, most likely I've seen that error before. It scares me a lot. I'll need to figure out what the hell is that about. It's very difficult now to figure that out. Thank you everybody for your follows. Appreciate it. Yeah, fuck, this is too huge. We need to fix that. Wait, so let me go to GitHub. Just let's take a look at our API and if it's actually deploying or not. So get articles endpoint, actions. So yeah, it should be working now again. Yeah, it does. All right, so that's great. But before I deploy this, yeah, let's fix this one up as well. So let's go to the dashboard. So let's close all of this stuff. Would I use it if it was made by another person? Depending how it was made, yeah. If it was done in the way that I want it, I would use it, yes. If it was made in a random way, where just garbage is posted all the time, then I wouldn't use it, no. It's a good question. I mean, it's a fair question. It's a very valid question. It's a question that all founders should be asking themselves, right? So I agree. It's a very, very good question. Very good question. But I think no. I mean, fundamentally, it's not. I mean, it's clearly again, these types of platforms are all about quantity, right? Like if you go to these existing platforms like this one, right, there's probably a majority of this shit is garbage, right? So the fundamental question is, how do you build a platform where most of the things which is posted isn't garbage, right? So that's a huge challenge, right? And that's why right, but we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see. No, I mean, the thing is, right, I mean, it's very hard to say anything, right? Because as long as you're not investing your hard-earned money, you're risking your life and your family and your well-being, right? You can build anything, really. And then as long as the consequence of that is fun and, you know, having a good time and stuff like that, do it, right? The worst thing is when people inherit some money or whatever and then they invest it into something completely stupid, right? I think that programming network or any network that you want to build, I mean, this is not the only network that has been attempted to be built. There were many networks that people tried to build. The hardest thing is getting the people there, right? Because fundamentally, right, there's I mean, there's no question that I'll build this platform fully with all features that I envisioned, right? That's beyond the question. I'm gonna do that even if it takes next 3 years, right? So I'll do that 100%. That nothing is gonna change that, right? No matter the feedback, right? It's because again, I do this for fun and I learn things along the way and I meet people. So I invest nothing other than the time that I choose specifically in certain moments to invest, right? So without a doubt, 700 people could come to me now and tell me either good feedback or bad, it doesn't matter. That would not change much, right? I'm still gonna sit and build it, right? So that is the difference, right? And you know, I'll be able to say, hey, well, I built the whole social platform on my own, every single thing, right? So the consequence of that can only be great. Having 3 users or 1 million users, it's irrelevant, right? I'll be having a full-fledged thing built right on my GitHub. So at the end of the day, right, there's nothing that can happen that's negative in this context. Zero, right? Because again, I will build things, right? And that's the difference. Just checking now on my laptop how it looks like, and does it work? Give me 1 second. Just checking my computer. Actually, it looks amazing. I like it. Wow, cool. I love it. Great. Okay, let's log in. Okay, awesome. Super great. Great. That's great. Amazing. Okay, super. Which other platforms, Marv? Which ones would you compare it to? Because I genuinely don't know platforms. I mean, it's literally a question. Is there actually which other platforms? Yeah, I think actually we should also give me 1 second. Let me change a song. Let's go. Let's go. No. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Log format JSON. What the fuck is this? Oh, okay. So there's some strange extension things. All right, great. Okay, that's great. So I like that. Okay, so let's see. More articles. Yeah, I think that's fair to say. The thing is, I mean, so I think what the fundamental problem, right, with a lot of, so let me kind of tell you my personal impression of things so far, right? So I think that honestly, like that, probably 99.9% of you here wouldn't be even a target of this platform that I'm trying to build, because let's face it. So let me just elaborate a few statistics for you. So most people here who come to these streams are people looking for jobs or juniors. Most people who are generally watching YouTube tutorials and streamers, not just me, this Vim guy or whatever, are mostly people who are not experienced. So what people do, right? A lot of younger people, either out of university or boot camp and stuff, they're looking for a job. So the main reason why they sign up on any platform, it can be programmed for any, is really about jobs, right? So, and no matter what platform exists, right, those people have only one goal: getting a job. They don't want to actually write an article or do really anything. It's because I can see that, right, if I would record a video now on YouTube about getting a job as a junior, it would probably have shit tons of views, right? So the content that a lot of people who come to these streams, they come to get help, and mostly people like this, even those who do write the articles, they don't write it because they are genuinely interested in doing so. It's because they want to increase their chance. They're like, okay, I need to be active online so recruiters, right, can see that I'm doing some stuff. So well, the target audience would be programmers who actually want to write good content, right? Who want to write some meaningful things, right? I mean, that, because again, that's very difficult, right? In order to get those types of people here, you need shit tons of other people first, right? So that is the difficult part, which is gonna always be difficult, right? So yeah, I mean, again, if you go to that hash node, if you go to these things, right, most of these articles, right, are kind of useless, right? And in order for programmer network wouldn't be any different if people would actually, if you know how to maintain your online presence with social media, right? It's really like, it's very random, right? Yeah, I don't genuinely, yeah, I don't know what to say about this type of stuff, right? You can see, for example, uh, this article is generated by ChatGPT 100%, right? So right, so there's I don't know. It's but programmer network, at the very least, I'm gonna be writing my own stuff, right? So I don't actually give a shit. But either way, right? You cannot upload files to programmer network. That makes no sense. Why would you be able to upload files? What's the purpose of that? Why would somebody want to see your executable? You cannot upload files. That would make no sense. Anyway, so basically, yeah. So who is the audience is the question, right? Well, the audience is somebody who actually wants to write and communicate with people, right? And most of you, let's face it, especially younger people, that's not really what you want. What you want is, you want to gain some knowledge, right? Some experience from someone more experienced, right? Well, I think fundamental difference, Marv, between these platforms, right, is that programmer network is supposed to be curated platform, right? It's supposed to be the platform where this doesn't exist, right? So you're only supposed to see things that you are actually interested in. So that's the difference here. If I think I've created an account here. Can I? So you can see here, I have no choice in what I see in platforms like this. I have no choice in platforms like LinkedIn. Pretty much in most of these platforms, I have no choice what I see, right? When I come to this crap, I always have to see all of this shit. And that is the fundamental, very technically simple, but fundamental difference, right? Because but I mean, you know what? It doesn't really matter, right? I agree with you, Marv, that you need to have this type of content until your platform is interesting enough. So that is, no matter what you decide to build. If any of you decide ever to build any platform that requires quantity of people, right? You will always face this challenge. The challenge is, why would some author come to a platform that doesn't have sufficient amount of users yet, right? But this is just a fragment of it, right? So, like, our scope is way larger than this, right? We have courses and meetups and all of this stuff. We need to go back and finalize all of this. But the difference is bigger in that sense, right? That you have set of features which are kind of related to your profile, to yourself, right? But I think content is overrated today, right? There's so much content, right? If I built this platform 8 years ago when I bought this domain, if I have sat and built it back then, today it would probably be the most popular platform in this domain, right? Today it's a little bit late, right? It's late because, yeah, there's a lot of content, and it's a content hell, right? There's so much stuff. Everybody is recording. Everybody now is a YouTuber. Everybody has a camera. Everybody, right? So that is basically, that's just how it is, right? There's just too much content all over the place, right? All right, let's chat a little bit. Chatting. How do I? Full camera. Background removal. All right, let's chat a little bit. What does anybody want to chat about? Something? Yeah, for sure, Marv. I mean, I'm with you. I don't disagree at all, man. I think it is very hard, right? It's very difficult, right, to do those. I don't have the answer, right? I've never built a social platform that had 1 million users to be able to give you answers, right? I can tell you that you need to get influx of people. You need, I mean, for example, you know, when yeah, exactly. I mean, pretty much what Leo just shared, right? I think, for example, when I read a use case of Udemy, right? When Udemy was built, Udemy basically had to hire consultants to write courses there so people can come and buy them, right? So so it's very difficult, right? I mean, building this scale project, let's face it, is almost impossible on your own, right? Because you need money. If I had, you know, if I could go to Fiverr.com or hire like 20 different random people, let's say in India, just to spam shit tons of content every day, that would be very different, right? That's not impossible. That's not hard at all, right? You just, right? Well, I mean, it is open for everybody, right? Again, but fundamentally, the problem is, why would somebody come somewhere when there isn't? So it's a chicken and egg problem always, right? Whenever you build you know, imagine like you build a video game and that an MMORPG that nobody plays, right? Well, it's like, how do I play MMORPG when there's no other people to team up with, right? So it's the same here. So you need a lot of content, right? You need to spam, you know, shit. You need to, and this is how every platform on the planet starts, right? You need to generate some content so you get some SEO traction, right? So people can find it, blah, blah, blah. But again, it's a very bad time for platforms like this. I mean, for all platforms, not just this one, because you have ChatGPT today, right? And I mean, almost anything that you want, you can generate in 3 seconds there. So, because I had a very interesting discussion about this with my colleagues at work, right? And this is the unknown that we don't, it's like, why would you read a blog ever again in your life, right? Think about it. Why would you go to, I mean, and this gets even worse for private blogs. I mean, imagine, Marv, that you have your own blog that nobody can find. You're somewhere on page 30 on Google, right? So I mean, platforms like this, to their defense, at least still have some future. Because imagine how it is going to be if you have your own random blog that somebody has to directly click on, right? Yeah, Leo, but that's not how you build products, man. We're not going to do that until, if ever, people start writing something, right? So you don't, you're making a huge assumption that would change nothing, right? Yeah, you have your own blog, Ovens, but who reads that blog, right? Did anyone actually ever click on it? That's a problem, right? You can have the most beautiful blog on the planet, but for you to be actually found on Google, you need to write content. So that is the difference between platforms like this DevTO, this platform and stuff. No matter what, your content is exposed to the right audience, right? That is the value of platforms like this, right? Is that you expose your content to people who come to platforms like this, right? If you have your own blog, sure, maybe some recruiter might have clicked on it, but who else has ever read your blog, right? You know, how do you rank on Google? Probably not very well, right? Not just you, most blogs don't, right? So I think a fundamental issue is that yeah, but man, this is but that's not what I mean. If I wanted to make extra money, right, I wouldn't be streaming and I wouldn't be doing this. This is the point of this isn't to make money right now, short term, right? Because if I wanted that, right, I would stop the stream now and never stream again, right? That has never been a problem, right? This is more of a this is an attempt of building something with the community, right? But the problem is, that's why I said many times, the community isn't right on Twitch, right? Because most of the community on Twitch, most of you guys, with certain exceptions, Marv may be your exception, maybe Leo is an exception. Most audience here, not just my audience in general, are people who come to gain some knowledge, milk some free stuff, right? And then they go to the next streamer, and then they learn things from them, and then they move. So this is not really... it's very difficult to find people here who article not found. Make sure that you have published that article, Dimitrich. Make sure that you didn't publish it as draft. Well, it doesn't matter where you write your blog. It doesn't matter if you write your blog. So look, where you write your blog, it's completely irrelevant. You are not gaining points if you have your own blog. That has no significance. The only significance that you might have is what you write about. Now, significance for you, if you write a blog on a platform like this, is that someone might read that blog once you publish it, because it is exposed directly on the feed, right? Well, how many people see it? Well, more than if you published it on your own. For sure. I mean, look, we have more than 1,000 people signed up on this platform. We have probably around 30 people who log in every day, right? Can I become a full stack web developer with one laptop? No, you cannot. You need at least two. So even this platform, which is dead now, you would still get more traction to your article than if you wrote it on your own blog, right? So that's just how it is, right? No, it didn't trigger me. I mean, he's playing around. I'm just responding in the same way. I'm sure that Father Wisdom isn't that stupid. He might be stupid, but not that stupid, right? So, you know, I just instantly jump into the role. Yeah, I mean, you cannot troll the master troll, man. That's impossible. I'm probably like 16 times smarter than him, at least. At least. Fada is probably like 17, probably still living with his parents, and that's completely fine. I don't write blogs on my site though to get views. I do it for myself. I mean, Ovens, I trust you to a huge degree, right? But nobody writes blogs just for themselves. I mean, that would be a huge waste of time. Why would you write someone that you wouldn't care about if others people read, right? So, because it's also a huge waste of time, and it's a shame, right? If you write something that's good. For example, I remember maybe 10 years ago, or actually 9 years ago, 8 years ago, when I bought this domain. Initially, I wanted to build... Initially, I wanted, but it's a shame that you write that in a place that nobody actually looks at, right? Because other people could then hear, right? about your projects, right? What a beautiful article, great. Beautiful article, thank you. I love it so much. Great, very insightful. Very insightful. You're very articulated, I can see. Beautiful. Great, I love it. I love it. All right, any more discussions, anything else we can discuss? Otherwise, I'm going to head off and enjoy myself a little bit. Let's see if he's if there's anyone else with anything that they heard they want to discuss, chat about. Show me the socks. Give me a second. Some friends writing. Jesus Christ. Okay, nice. Leo, my friend, thank you very much. Likewise. Sleep well. I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. So come around. Christmas is tomorrow. Well, I'm an Orthodox. My Christmas is on 7th of January. But yeah. Got it. Awesome. All right, fellas. Well, that's what it is then. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Merry Christmas to you who celebrated tomorrow. See you later today, indeed. Have a good one, guys. Sleep well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, Marv, I love you, man. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for the insights, dude. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Peace out, fellas. Awesome, man. Thank you. Likewise. Have a great one, guys. Bye bye. Cheers. Bye.